Hey there, kids. Now we have the epilogue. Oop, okay, there we go. Of book one, Oddmire, book one, The Changeling. Chief Ned breathed in deep, taking in the smell of the forest and the sight of the old cabin. He had left his usual entourage of lieutenants behind. This trip was for Ned alone. He had been a much younger goblin the last time he had come to this place. What are you doing here, Thief King? There was no warmth in the voice that greeted Ned. I met her, you know, the chief answered conversationally. Right here, many times. Your mother was a fine woman, witch. The queen of the deep dark eyed Ned bitterly as she stepped into the light. You knew my mother? Aye. And you let her die alone in the woods. The witch's voice was soft and as cold as a fresh snowfall. We are not friends, you and I. Ned chuckled softly. Not a soul on this earth let your mother do anything, lass. She did or she didn't as she pleased. Force of nature, that one. I believe she stayed because she was waiting. Don't you call me lass, said the queen. Ned could see waves of emotion rolling just behind her stony countenance. Waiting, she added. For what? For ya? It would be unwise to toy with me, Thief King. She loved you, lass. I said, don't call me. She loved you, Raina. The queen of the deep dark froze. What did you say? Your name. She said it often enough. I expect you probably didn't remember it. You're such a wee little thing. I remember. The queen stared at Ned, although something in her eyes told him that she was seeing was indefinitely farther away. When she spoke again, the ice had begun to melt away from her words. You really knew her? Ned nodded. Will you, she hesitated, will you tell me about her? Ned considered for a moment. That child of yourn, Fable is it? She crossed into the veil last night. She took hold of the very fabric of the universe, and when she had it in her hands, she shook it. That's the spirit of your mother right there. Queen Raina smiled in spite of herself. At the same moment, Ned's own grin vanished. A human shouldn't have survived that. A human couldn't survive that. I'll tell you anything you want to know about your mother, witch. His eyes narrowed. If you tell me about the girl. Wow, that's the end. Oh my gosh. Whew. This is going to be really cool. So it ends with the acknowledgments here. Research for this book began a long time ago with a different pair of troublemaking boys tromping through the trees in search of impossible things, the author writes. I want to thank Alex Reisfar for filling the forests of my childhood with magic. I haven't stopped tromping. There are good people in the world who do difficult work navigating the real deep dark to help lost children find their way through the shadows and back into the light of day. I would also like to thank Erin Farrell for walking that path. Without her, our story might never have been. And as ever, I cannot adequately express my gratitude for Katrina, the most indomitable force of nature I have ever met. If you look for her in this story, you will find her. Her hands have brushed the leaves of the wildwood, and the forest has grown more vibrant at her touch. And that's the end of Book 1, The Oddmire, Book 1, The Changeling. Thanks for listening.